Hello everybody, welcome back to another video, and in this video I'm telling you about every single rare structure variant in Minecraft, like for example this zombie village right behind me. And so if you like Minecraft videos like this one, then please make sure you leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more Minecraft videos just like this one in the future. And so Minecraft has many different structures, but only a few of these have secret/alternate variants that you may not know about. And so for the village, normally you only have the plains village, desert, savanna, taiga and snowy. But there is a secret type of village, which only has a 2% chance of generating. And it's known as an abandoned village or a zombie village. And you might understand why it's called a zombie village, because there are no regular villagers here, there are just zombie villagers. Furthermore, you will notice that all of the doors are missing from all of the houses in this rare village, along with all of the torches. There is not a single torch inside, so the entire structure is completely dark, which allows for the zombie villagers to roam around freely. And you may notice that there are some other changes here as well. For example, many of the cobblestone blocks are now turned into mossy cobblestone. Oh, you're a bit stuck there. Furthermore, all of the glass is actually brown stained glass panes, as you can see right here. And as you may have already noticed, many of the wooden blocks are replaced by cobwebs. But it can also happen with, for example, glass or even stone. And finally, you will never find an iron golem in one of these abandoned villages. And so currently we are in a plains zombie village, but this can actually happen to any type of village. For example, right here we have a desert zombie village. And you can see that once again we have all of the cobwebs, all of the missing doors, the zombie villagers all around, and no torches. There is some light coming here from the lava, but still no torches. And also no iron golem. And with a 2% chance you rarely come across one of these rare structure variants. Then let's move on to our second structure of the video. Now you may or may not count this one, let me know in the comments down below. But we have an igloo behind us, and you can see a very weird structure below the igloo here. This doesn't always generate. And you may also not always notice it, because of course normally an igloo doesn't generate on the side of a mountain just like this. So if you go into the igloo, all igloos will look exactly the same like this. But only in half of the igloos, so 50% of the time, there will be a secret basement hidden inside of the igloo. And you can actually find it by breaking this carpet right over here. 50% of the time there will be a trapdoor below this, and the other 50% of the time there will just be a snow block below this. So if you go down into the basement, you will see a very long ladder going all the way from the igloo down into this structure over here, made of stone bricks. And it always contains a villager and a zombie villager, and this is here to teach you how to cure a zombie villager. Because if you look in the chest over here, it will always contain a golden apple, and furthermore, if you look at the brewing stand over here, it will always contain a potion of weakness. So that means you can break this iron bar, throw the potion of weakness on the zombie, and give it the golden apple to cure it and turn it into a villager. And personally, this is one of my favorite structure variations in the game, because it just teaches the player something about Minecraft in a really intuitive way. And you would never expect this happening under an igloo. Unless, of course, you saw one generating just like this. And so this basement in the igloo is not the only secret room that can generate inside of the structures that we have in Minecraft. No, there are actually many different secret rooms that can generate in structures. I've already made a video on that, and if you want to watch that, a link to that video will be in the top right of your screen. So go watch that right after this video. Then for our third structure, we'll move into the end dimension, because next we have a rare variant of the end city. And so behind me we have an end city structure. Now what makes some of these rare is that they can have an extra addition, which is the end city ship. This doesn't always generate in end cities. And so how often does an end city actually generate with an end city ship? Well, there is not a fixed spawn percentage in the code or anything like that, because what happens actually is that for every direction of every tower, the end city has a 50% chance of generating a bridge like this one right over here. You can see multiple bridges here. And at the end of a bridge, there is a 1 in 8 chance of that generating an end ship afterwards. So that's what happened with this bridge right over here. And it will always be just a single end ship for a single end city, so you can never have more than one. So that means that usually if you have a larger end city, you will have a higher chance of finding a ship there. than in a smaller end city. But from what I've seen online and what I've seen in my own testing as well, is that about half of the end cities will have an end city ship. But that's not with a very large sample size. So what is interesting about these ships is that they always contain a dragon head at the front. Furthermore, they will always have a brewing stand with healing potions in them. So 2 healing, 2 instant health potions. And at the bottom over here, they will always have a shulker, an elytra, and 2 chests with some of the best loot in the game. But I assume that most people know about the Igloo and the end city ships. So let's move on to one maybe people don't know about. And for this 4th structure, we go into the Badlands biome, previously known as the Mesa biome, because in here you can actually find a rare variant of the Mineshaft, or abandoned Mineshaft, which is a structure that has been in the game for a very long time, since the original Mineshafts have been in the game since September 9th, 2011, and this rarer variant was introduced in May of 2016 in update 1.10. The main difference compared to regular mineshafts is that instead of using oak wood, the Badlands mineshafts use dark oak planks and fences throughout the structure. And furthermore, there is a high chance of these actually generating partly above ground. So as you can see, this one is actually partly above ground over here. So you may spot these when you're exploring through a Badlands biome. They can stick out quite well. But alright, then let's move on to our final rare structure variant. And that is this structure over here. It is the giant ruined portal. So this behind me is a massive ruined portal. And so when a ruined portal generates, there is a 5% chance that it generates as a giant ruined portal, where it is a whole lot bigger than normal. Since normal ruined portals are usually the size of the regular nether portal, these are always a lot bigger. There is 3 unique designs, but all 3 look quite similar, where they have this stone brick outline, then some iron bars, and then the portal in between. And so these can actually have either 2 or 6 blocks of gold. So this one has 1 at the top over here. There's another one here in the lava, and there's 2 at the back here. Furthermore, they generate with the regular ruined portal chest, and these can also generate in the nether, but then these stone bricks are replaced by black stone bricks. And so here, for example, we have a variant of the giant ruined portal, but then in the nether dimension. And indeed, you now see all of the black stone blocks instead of the stone bricks. But furthermore, it looks quite similar to the one we saw in the overworld. So you have only a 5% chance of a ruined portal being a giant ruined portal. That I would truly call a rare structure variant. And so those were the 5 rare structure variants I wanted to show you for this video. If you think I missed any, please let me know about them in the comments down below. But anyway, there we go. Hope you all enjoyed this video. And if you did, then please subscribe!